what are some of your thoughts on how Google had kind of started some of that movement, and over the last few years, it's just amazing how, Microsoft has kind of compiled and improved this whole suite of ability to work. So how is this impacting business, collaboration and all these types of things? Who wants to take a stab at that?
With our business, we're very much in a transitional period, I suppose. We keep hearing the term digital transformation, and certainly as far as our company is concerned, couldn't be more accurate. What we're finding is that we're getting offices who are effectively operating multi-site. So effectively, they will have a bricks and mortar business in one town, but they could operate over several towns. So the actual requirement to collaborate on certain aspects, so things like having access to the same management software or the same documents is getting more and more of a requirement. I think that historically, people have had to look at the likes of Citrix or a terminal server type infrastructure, but now with the likes of 365 there, I think it's really changed the landscape, especially for us.
You're hitting on obviously a disparate kind of a spread workforce, remote working. I'd like to talk more about that, but also just kind of along the theme of the overall impact, whether you're working in the same office or working in across a number of offices. What are some of the business impacts that you're seeing? And from, in your situation and with, working in the legal environment, what do you see the impact of this suite of tools on the business and the working?
It can be very transformational. Obviously, more and more law firms are merging at the moment, and so we have some large global organizations such as our own that have to work across border, across time zones, and collaborate not only with each other but with their clients. So obviously these tools make a fantastic difference to the way that you can work and you can be responsive. I think going on from the point that Sherry made about this absolute range of tools that are now available, that in itself is a challenge in the legal environment where you have to be so careful about record retention, about version control. There are so many requirements that you have to build into your forms of communication that in itself can be a challenge, because you have no longer do you just have email with Word documents going backwards and forwards and then being retained in a repository, albeit in the cloud or not. You now have all these chat groups, and from a legal perspective, that means that you have to have a whole different armory around the way that your colleagues communicate to make sure that you comply with all the regulations. So that's an interesting challenge, and we are seeing the development of a range of tools built on top of the Microsoft technologies, if you like, to protect that environment and make it safe and compliant. So that's an interesting challenge, and one that we as software vendors do take very seriously. I think the other point is about data. The excitement of actually having access to all these data means that you can do so much more with it, and provide so many more tools and analytics. And that's something that we're definitely seeing from our clients, is that this growth in data is very exciting because it gives you new opportunities to present new solutions for your clients, and provide more management data for the organization as well. So that's an exciting trend that's going on at the moment.
You brought up a few points: the collaboration in a document,
yep.
The access to documents, and all those things. So from other perspectives, again, because that's a major impact on your business. What other, along this same kind of line of thought, is what are some of the impacts? Cheryl, what are you seeing?
I think you're right. I think we're having lots of conversations with companies who are very much siloed with all these data stores and network shares. We're hearing the conversation frequently around VPN and wasted time. And people, I say, we're moving at pace, businesses are moving at pace, and we need to have access to our data. We need to have access to data that's accurate, that's representative of what we always call one version of the truth. And being able to get your hands on it quickly is very, very key. But there's also a little bit of nervousness around how that could work. But I mean, SharePoint was a document management system. It's got some very good features within it. And I think we're doing a lot of work with companies to help support that and to help them to get access to that data quickly. We're also working with a lot of companies who are cross-site. So they've got people moving from site to site globally, and they want them to have accurate, up-to-date information. They want them to go from, say, Nigeria to come to work in, say, Aberdeen, and have the same access to the same data set that everyone else has. But also, just to pick up on a point that Anne's made, the data analytics is absolutely key. Whereas before this information was siloed in network shares, people want to be able to interpret it and use the value of their data to grow their business, to analyze their business, to understand where they need to be. And I think we're seeing a huge trend around that with Power BI coming into play in dashboarding, and people just having access to that fingertip, dashboarding. That's definitely a huge trend going forward.
Alex, looks like you had some thoughts on that. Yeah.
Yes, I certainly do. We've adopted Power BI across our business. It is an extremely important tool for us. We produce enormous amounts of data, and we're, of course, because we're using it in just about every aspect and creating lots of windows on lots of parts of the business. We're also now going out to our customers and making sure that they are also either using it themselves or selling it to their end users. So I can thoroughly recommend Power BI as a great analytics tool and a way to get that window that we require on all of that data that comes from one source. And we use it on mobile, we use it, everywhere, and of course it's fully accessible wherever you are. So I thoroughly recommend the tool, and it's going extremely well for us internally, and we're finding more and more of our customers beginning to use it as well.